So today let's look at letter writing. Letter writing is the task 1 of the writing test of IELTS. Of course, in IELTS we have the listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So today we are looking at writing, but task 1 of the writing, specifically for test takers that are looking to apply for job. So this is your task 1 letter. Now in letter writing, I would like to ask, how many types of letters do you have, or do we have? How many types of letters?
No, 3.
3 types of letters, correct. So what are these 3 types of letters?
Formal.
The informal
Informal.
letters, the semi-formal letters, and the formal letters. These are the 3 types of letters that we have. And in IELTS letter writing questions, you never can tell what type of or where the question will come from, whether it is the informal question or semi-formal question or formal question. You can't tell. So it is important that you learn the 3 types of letters so that anyone that comes will be able to deal with it. So let's begin. First and foremost, your letter writing is meant to last for 20 minutes. Only. Within these 20 minutes, you're required to write a minimum of 150 words. Minimum. You can write more. And of course, letter writing, which is your task 1, will fetch you a maximum rate of 33.31%. 33.31% of the total score you get from a writing test. So the essay has a higher percentage of the mark from writing. Okay, so let's now understand that in the letter writing, we have a formula for writing letters. There is a formula for writing letters, and the formula is okay. So here is the formula for writing your letter. Whatever type of letter it is, this is the formula that you can apply. Now this formula requires you to write the letter beginning with the salutation. But just before we go into the formula, I would like to ask, or I would like to actually confirm this. In your letter, when you're writing letter, especially to someone you have official relationship with, or someone you have some, you don't even know the person, but the person is occupying a particular designation, and you want to write a letter to that person. Normally, on your letter space, you usually have something written by this corner, right? And then on the left-hand corner of your space, you also have something you usually write here. And in most cases, there's something you write here before the body of the letter, right?
Yes.
So what we usually write here?
You write your own address.
Writer's address. What we usually write here?
The address, the person you are writing.
Recipient's address. That's the receiver's address. Then what we usually write here?
That is the topic.
Subject of the letter.
Subject.
Thank you. So now, in IELTS, you don't need any of these guys. You don't need your address. You don't need dates. You do not need the recipient's address, and you don't need to include any subject. IELTS says go straight to your letter because of time. You don't have all the time. So, based on the formula, there is no such thing as writer's address, recipient's address, and subject of the letter. And the formula indicates that you should go straight to your salutation. So that's why we have this formula this way. This formula will help you to structure your letter, and it will also help you to achieve the minimum number of words, which is 150, with ease. So let's look at this. The S represents salutation. So to begin, let's treat informal letter. Okay, so what are informal letters? How would you define informal letters?
Well, an informal letter is such a letter that you write to someone familiar to you.
Correct. That's correct. So an informal letter or informal letters are letters you write to people that that are related to you either by blood or by friendship. Informal letters are letters we write to people who are related to us either by blood or by friendship. So when you talk about relationship by blood, you're referring to your family. Of course, family covers your parents, your siblings, your siblings, and your nibblings, right? So those are informal letters. Then when you talk about by relationship, by friendship, then you are referring to your friends. Okay? Then, what are some of the examples of informal letters? Examples of informal letters? These are letters we write to our parents, letters we write to our siblings, letters we write to our nibblings, letters we write to our piglings, then letters we write to our friends. All of these make up informal letters. Now let's look at what this formula comes with. By default, the formula for writing any type of letter is S, which is salutation, P1, P2, P3, P4, which is optional, then closure, that's all. But the content or constituents or makeup of the formula is dependent on the type of letter you are treating. There are different attributes or characteristics of letters. So every letter doesn't bear the same feature. Like informal letters are informal. Alright? And IELTS expects that when you are treating an informal letter, ensure that your tone, the tone of your letter, and the diction, that's the choice of words used, should be informal. Because they expect that you should rapport with the person just as though you're having a normal chat. But don't bring in your native dialect. Don't bring in slangs, right? But express yourself very freely with the person. Now, informal letter accepts nicknames when you are expressing salutation. So, what do we have? Every letter in IELTS is required or expected to begin with the salutation, dear whoever you are writing to. Dear, aha. If it is
Dear Mary.
Exactly. For an informal letter, it could be dear CJ, dear TY, dear aha. So all those short pet names, nicknames, short names, they are accepted in informal letters. So you just need to impute the person's name, and then a comma goes. After that, you have to indicate your paragraph 1 by showing off what we call expression of or exchange of pleasantries. Exchange of pleasantries. Exchange of pleasantries is where you begin to ask the person how he or she is faring and all that. Then after exchange of pleasantries, you bring in what we call recall of past memory. Recall of past memory. And after that, you bring in the purpose of writing. Purpose of writing. Recall of past memory. Then POW, purpose of writing. After that, your paragraph 2, you're bringing in detailed purpose of writing. Detailed purpose of writing. Then, to show off your detailed purpose of writing, you bring in facts and figures. So to show your detailed purpose of writing, you have to factor in facts and figures. Your paragraph 3, you are to either prove a solution or indicate your preferred solution. And this will require you to show off when and how. When and how. Then your paragraph 4, which is optional, you are to just treat your conclusion. Then lastly, your closure for an informal letter can be best wishes, comma, then just a name. Best wishes, comma, then just a name. Or you can choose to say warm regards, comma, then just a name. That's all. For informal letter, these are ways you can.
The best wishes.
Best wishes.
Nothing to put that under that dash.
Here, just a name.
Okay, name. So in that formal one too, you will put yours faithful.
When we get there,
okay, because I've been seeing there's no one with name, so I wanted to ask.
Yes. So this is for informal letter. You can close your letter with best wishes, then just one name. It could be a nickname, it could be acronym, it could be a whatever fun name. Or you say warm regards, then one name. And that's all. Now, let me explain this. You may be asked or tasked to write a letter to your friend. So that letter will have a scenario or particular task that you're meant to cover. So what you do, basically, dear whatever how you address the person. Then EOP, your EOP would be exchange of pleasantries, where you ask the person something like, how are you and your family doing? What do I end this with?
How are you and your family doing?
Yes. What do I end it with?
Question mark.
Question mark. Right? Then what's up with you? What's up with your new job? What do I end it with?
Still
Question mark. I trust you are shining really bright in the career. What do I end it with?
I trust you are, yeah, still.
Question mark. Okay, if you put question mark here, this is wrong. It's not a question. It is full stop. It's a rhetorical expression that doesn't require a response. So when you say, I trust you are shining really bright, or I hope you are well, I believe all is well, I trust everything is going on, it is not a question.
Yeah.
It is a rhetorical expression that doesn't require any
Answer.
reply or response. So it's just an expression you are making with your faith. So now the whole of these falls under exchange of pleasantries. Please, do we understand this? Yes. Okay, so I trust you are shining really bright in the career. Honestly speaking, John, I always have a retrospect and of our last rendezvous at the park. The fun moments we had keep coming afresh in my mind, and I honestly and sincerely look forward to having such time or such experience, if time permits, recall of past memory. So you are recalling a particular scenario you had together. It could be the last meeting, it could be the last outing, it could be anything you had together, probably before maybe one thing happened and you moved to a different location. So you just have to recall something. Then after that, I'm actually writing to inform you, John, that I will be having my parents visit Canada on a 2-week vacation, on a 2-week holiday. So I'm looking to see how you can make out time to take them on a tour around Canada so that they won't feel so bored. So that's your purpose of writing.
I'm looking to see or to see.
I'm looking to see.
To see.
S-E-E. Right? I'm looking to have my parents visit Canada on a 2-week vacation. So it could be anything. Anything can be your purpose of writing. Just introduce it to the recipient. And that will be the end of your paragraph 1. Alright? So, Mr. Shegun, EOP means exchange of pleasantries. ROPM means recall of past memory. POW means purpose of writing. And this is the formula for writing letter. This is the formula for writing letter. S means salutation, and then P1, P2, P3, P4, which is optional, then closure. Okay? And then in letter writing, you do not need to write your address. You do not need to write date. You do not need to write recipient address. You do not need to write subject of the letter. IELTS does not need any of that. IELTS says begin your letter with salutation. And salutation in every letter must reflect or begin with dear, then dash, whoever you're writing to. Do you understand this? Okay, so let's go next to paragraph 2. Paragraph 2, which is exchange detailed purpose of. Paragraph 2 is detailed purpose of writing. So in detailed purpose of writing, you are to show off facts and figures. Okay? So the facts and figures right here are, or would include you giving name of a particular place that you are, a location that you are referring to or interested in going, or you witnessed or experienced, or that you visited and had an encounter. You have to give dates, the particular day that you had such experience, or you traveled, or you are looking to return. Give facts. Then the duration, how long it will take you. If there is financial implication, the cost. Write the cost in figure. Of course, you can write in words, but ensure that the figure version can be in brackets if you want. Then you also want to look at maybe if there is anything else to do with number of persons or quantity that you want to include. All of these things you have to factor in. The question will not highlight them for you, but you have to creatively impute them. So, concerning my parents' planned trip to Canada for 2 weeks on vacation, I have made arrangement for the accommodation already through an agency that is quite popular, and payments are also settled. Payments have been settled as well. The flights, the round trip flights is already booked, and every other logistics well planned for in collaboration with that particular agent. However, I will need your assistance when it comes to taking them on a tour around some renowned and monumental areas or locations or spots. I'm aware that Canada has Niagara Falls, which is a point of tourist attraction. There is also the Montreal, which has a lot of facilities that people are always interested in going to see, and few other places. I would solicit and appeal to you, my dear friend John, to kindly work out modalities to take them around these places on the days that will be most convenient for you. I wouldn't want anything that would affect your work and family. So if it's possible, I'll be most grateful to have my parents being taken on a tour around most tourist attraction centers here in Canada. Then paragraph 3. Paragraph 3, you want to look at how the tour should be organized. So, in view of your schedules and other things, it is also important we consider days that will not affect your work schedule unless your rota has placed you on an off day schedule for that week. Then it will be also favorable. Else, Saturday and Sunday will be perfect for everyone who work within from Monday to Friday. And I'm sure 3 hours will be enough to take them and bring them back home. On this plan, they are coming with cash for payment of transportations and all that. Then if there is need to pay to have access to certain entertainment facilities such as roller coaster, train, and so many other fun gadgets, they will also make available the required fees that are to be paid. You are providing solution, right? But if you feel cash is not accepted, of course, you can help to pay with your card, as they do not have Canadian dollar card, but they would reimburse you in cash, right? Thank you so kindly for always being there for me. Knowing you has been so awesome, and I look forward to reciprocating all the kind of whatever it is you're right. Then best wishes, your name, or warm regards, your name. That's all. I'm very sure with all of these, if you write them, you've exceeded 150 long ago. And your letter is very straightforward and engaging, right? So that's how creative you are expected to be when you are writing a letter. Please, do you understand? Okay, let's begin. Let's begin by understanding what semi-formal letter actually means. What are semi-formal letters? Do you have an idea?
Yes. This person might be close to you, but not so familiar like in the case of informal.
Okay. Okay, nice. Makes sense. To an extent. The semi-formal letters are letters we write to people that we have official relationship with. Semi-formal letters are letters we write to people that we have official relationship with. Examples of semi-formal letters. We are looking at letters to your landlord, because in most cases the only relationship you have with your landlord is your rent, and if there's any situation in the house. So it is semi-formal. Another example of semi-formal letter would be letter you write to your religious leaders. Another example, letters you write to your traditional rulers, monarchs. Another example would be letters you write to your lecturers, professors. Another example would be letters you write to your children's class teachers or school management. So these are examples of semi-formal letters. There are so many others actually, right? Now let's look at the formal letters. What are formal letters? These are letters you write to people occupying official positions that you have no relationship with. Formal letters are letters you write to people occupying official positions that you have no relationship with.
Occupying positions. People occupying.
Formal letters are letters you write to people in official positions or people occupying official positions that you have no relationship with. You have no personal relationship with. Examples of formal letters. We have letters for employment, applications for employment. We have letters to banks to open accounts with them. We have letters to bid for contracts. Letters written to media houses. And many more. That's why when you write, you don't know who is there. You do not have any relationship with the person prior to that. So let's get started with the formula. If you look at the same formula structure applies. The same formula structure for informal letter is what we have for formal and semi-formal letters. But perhaps the features or characteristics or contents or constituents of the letters may differ because of the slight differences or massive or large differences between the types of letters. So let's begin. Remember, semi-formal letters are letters you write to people that you already have official relationship with. So you have prior knowledge about whom you're writing to. For semi-formal letters, you already know the person's marital status and you know the person's name. So the salutation, S of course stands for salutation. The salutation for writing the semi-formal letter would be, normally it begins with dear, then Mr. Holy. You must write dear, that's the beginning of the salutation. Write the person's title, marital status title, then the person's official name. Of course, this is not to be, the name is not to be abbreviated or shortened. The name shouldn't come as acronym. It has to be the full, just one official name, that's all. It can also be a female, so you're writing dear Mrs. Toby. It will also be dear Miss Dolly. And then we have dear Miss Law. Since you already have that relationship with the person you're writing a semi-formal with, a semi-formal letter to, you are to indicate the salutation dear, then the marital title, right? Then the name. But if it is the formal letter, this is the only template you have to bring in. Dear sir / madam. You do not know who is there, right? So do not write dear sir alone. And do not write dear madam alone. You need to bring in the two possible persons. So whoever is there will acknowledge the one that goes for him or her.
Do we use that slash or
Anyone you want to use. Slash means or. So dear sir slash madam.
This is a salutation. Dear Miss with IWS and the other one Miss with MS. What's the
Dear Miss Dolly, very straightforward, is a spinster, right? A single lady, one unmarried lady. Then dear Miss Love is used for someone whose marital status is unknown.
No.
Or the person used to be in marriage but no longer. Right? So we use Miss.
Is there anything like master?
No. Everything falls under
Miss
Emma.
Emma. Okay.
Right? Then for semi-formal letter, your paragraph 1, you have optional exchange of pleasantry. Optional. After that, you bring in your purpose of writing. Exchange of pleasantries, which is optional. Then after that, your purpose of writing comes in. Right? But in a formal letter, you have no reason whatsoever to begin to ask, how are you, sir, in application for job?
This is all there is to paragraph 1.
Pardon?
That is all there is to paragraph
No. This, we are talking about a formula now. I will explain how to expatiate on this formula.
Okay.
So for your paragraph 1, under a semi-formal letter, you are writing, you are expressing exchange of pleasantries in semi-formal letter because you have some level of relationship with the person. But this is not compulsory, that's why it is optional. If you choose to exchange pleasantries, it's perfect. But there is a caution. The caution in IELTS is that do not go beyond your level of relationship. You are asking your superior at the office, maybe the head of department of your particular section. You need a letter of reference from him or her. So you want to ask the person, you want to exchange pleasantries. Your pleasantries should be restricted to your working environment. So you're asking the person, how is the job going? I trust the workload is not enormous, and of course I believe that welfare has improved under our department. Don't go asking the person as your family. You are not the next person's family. Do you understand? So you have to restrict your exchange of pleasantries to your working relationship, and that's it. But if you don't even want to use it at all, if you don't want to bring in exchange of pleasantries, just go straight to your purpose of writing. Then in the formal letter, it is a one-way thing. So you don't have any rights, you don't think of exchange of pleasantries. So just go straight to your purpose of writing.
One will just think English is just speak English.
Okay, then paragraph 2. You are bringing in detailed purpose of writing. And for that, you are to show off facts and figures. So for the formal letter, the same thing applies. Then for your paragraph 3, you are either you proffer solution or you state your preferred solution. And for this reason, you are advised to show or indicate when and how you want the issue to be resolved. When and how you want the issue to be resolved. When and how. Okay, then for paragraph 3, for the formal letter, same thing applies. Then for your paragraph 4, all you need to do is show off your conclusion. Show off your conclusion, and same thing applies here as well. Now let's look at the closure for the semi-formal letter. The best shot for semi-formal letter is semi-formal letter would be yours sincerely, then comma, your first and your last name. Yours sincerely, your first and your last name. Of course, you may also choose to use warm regards. Warm regards, comma, your first and your last name. You might also notice that some persons use best wishes, first and last name. But in the formal letter setting, there is only one template for closure, and that's yours faithfully, comma, then compulsorily you need to sign, append your signature before bringing in your first and your last name for a formal letter. Once you write yours faithfully, append your signature, then bring in your first and the last name, whatever you want to write. That's for formal letter. Okay, so you have samples of the informal letters, semi-formal letters, and formal letters sent to you. Please, you will go through those letters and understand the structure. But just as I explained in your informal letter, your facts and figures should not be based on spellings alone. You need to figure in, or you need to factor in, or you need to find ways of bringing dates, population or quantity in figures. Bring in currencies or amounts. Talk about location. If there's a way to rate a particular thing, like if it's a hotel, you want to rate the hotel maybe 3 star, 4 star. Is that 6? The highest is 5. What's the highest star? 5 star, right? Electronics cost is 5. Okay, so if 7-star hotel, like that one under the water. Okay, so that's about the letter. You see, it's not difficult, right? It's just something. The major thing is, in every letter question you are given, there are bullet points.
But in the letter too, there's paraphrasing.
No, not really. You don't paraphrase the question, no. It's not necessary. Don't. But when you're writing, to avoid repetitions, then you paraphrase. That is bringing in synonyms now, right? But also, back to this guy. In semi-formal letter or formal letters, there are templates to begin your purpose of writing. There are standard templates in IELTS to begin your paragraph 1 purpose of writing. And the template is I am writing in connection with. That's how you begin. You introduce your purpose of writing.
For formal.
Both formal and semi-formal. To introduce your purpose of writing, you are strongly advised to apply these templates. I am writing in connection with, if it's a formal letter, maybe job, in connection with an advertorial I read on one of the dailies, where you have advertised and advertised and invited or inviting qualified and interested applicants to put in the application for the position of so. That's you now introducing your purpose of writing. Another standard template can be found in paragraph 3, towards the end of paragraph 3. And the template is I would appreciate it if perhaps if your letter is acknowledged and duly considered, I would appreciate it if my request is given utmost urgency, right? I would appreciate it if my expositions are treated with high level of confidentiality, whatever it is. Then you conclude, and that's all. Please, do you have any confusion about letters. I was trying to explain that every letter question comes with 3 or 4 bullet points. For instance, write a letter to your friend who lives overseas. In the letter, notify him or her about your plan to visit the city where he or she resides. Establish what you would like to do when you come there. Request that she makes better plans for you and provide time so that you can hang out together. And they will tell you what and what you should write. So it is now left to you to decide which paragraph you want to discuss in any of those points. Whether you want to, after introducing your purpose of writing, you now come here and discuss maybe 1 or 2 of the points. Come here and discuss the third one or the third and fourth, then you conclude and you go. Do you understand? It's left to you. Alright, so this is about letter writing. If we don't have any question, that's one letter I say. Please don't forget. You don't need dates. You don't need address. You don't need recipient's address. You don't need subject of the letter. Whether it is an application letter or permission letter for semi, you don't need that. Right? Just go straight to your salutation. Dear.
It's the question now that will determine
The type of letter it is.
the type of letter.
All right, that's a good observation. Let me quickly take you through how to locate or identify or decipher the type of letter. Informal letters are easy to decipher, right? It will always say, write a letter to your friend, write a letter to your parent, write a letter to your whoever it is. They'll give you who you have to write to, right? So that's for informal. So ensure that you use the informal template to write. If it is a semi-formal letter, they will tell you who to write to as well. And they would indicate the person's portfolio. Write a letter to your former employer. Now, when the instruction says write a letter to your former employer, the name of the employer of your former employer will not be written in the question. Who knows why?
Because they don't know.
No, they know.
They don't know your own former employer.
IELTS is not looking for real stories.
Okay.
They just said you write a letter to your former employer. They don't have to include the name because you know who your former employer is.
Yes.
They already know. They don't need to tell you. And even if you have a former employer or not, whether you have former employer or not,
you must find it.
Employer. Give a name. Whether if it's going to be a male, give a Mr. and give a name. If you want the person, your former employer, to be a female, give a title and a name. If you want the person to be a sister, I will have Miss Dolly here. So you choose who you want to address the letter to. And that's how to decipher semi-formal. They'll just give you your landlord, your clergy, your lecturer, professor, whoever it is. So they expect that you should know the name of the person. So you have to include it when you're writing your citation. Please do you understand this? When a question is a semi-formal question, 2 things examiners will look at before they begin to mark is your salutation and your closure. If these 2 things are wrong, you know that you don't know the type of letter.
Anything you write is.
Any other thing you're writing, they know, of course, is just what the French people call mélanger, mix couple. You're just mixing things anyhow. Right? So that's how to detect a semi-formal letter. Then if it is a formal letter, they only give you designation. Write a letter to the manager. Who is the manager? We don't know. Write a letter to the editor-in-chief of Blueprint newspaper. Who is there? We don't know. So that's why your salutation would acknowledge sir/madam. Please, is this clear? That's how the beginning, writing letter, writing a correct, or writing the appropriate letter depends on your interpretation of the question. That's where it all begins from.